We have new evidence on this channel of potential links between the Chinese Communist Party and the US elections, as a CEO of a US election software company is arrested. Okay, let's get back to the important issues. So, we have seen and heard a number of allegations over the last few years when it comes to America and some of the dodgy stuff that happens from Joe Biden's family and his son Hunter Biden, what he's up to when he goes abroad, to what's been happening with the Clinton dynasty, to the recent elections in 2020. Now, there's something else coming up. Forget about Fauci and all the other dodgy stuff that we keep talking about on the channel. There's some new stuff. So this is Eugene Yu. He is the CEO of a company called Connect. Now, Connect is basically a US election software company. And you know what happened? It's not necessarily just because the CEO is Chinese, because that would be like that's just rude. You can't just accuse of a company like, wow, that means you're linked to China. But coincidentally, it keeps happening because he's now been arrested because his company that helps American elections is a software company with logistics of the elections, has been sending and storing data in China. A company in America sending and storing data in China. That's not normal. And it got to a point where even the American elite and the establishment, so this is George Gascon, who's the district attorney in California, said Connect allegedly violated its contract by storing critical information that the workers provided on servers in China. We intend to hold all those responsible for this breach accountable. This is a little bit dodgy. Then, of course, luckily, the guy's been arrested. Now, that there has to be the proper investigation now. Usually, it gets to this level, and you think, oh, there is accountability. Sometimes, in the past, the people who've been accused of dodgy stuff, the investigation sometimes stop. Or the investigation just disappear. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be the case with this situation, but it's happened in the past. Or the guy somehow loses his life in prison, in jail. We'll see what happens with this case. But considering that the liberal media and establishment consistently have been coming out to accuse anybody who questions establishment, anybody who questions the legitimacy of the establishment, even when it comes to the 2020 election with Joe Biden and Trump, they give you all the name-calling nonsense and all the titles, tinfoil hats. Even the New York Times, who came out to say about this exact same company, saying how a tiny elections company became a conspiracy theory target. Election deniers are using this company to say, wow, the CEO is Chinese, so clearly he's linked to Beijing. So now that we know that he's been sending data and storing the data in Chinese servers in China, are you still going to write articles like that? Because, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're not going to give up. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. I don't care if they're going to call me names or any of us as individuals, but the process matters. The process has to happen. Accountability is the last tiny bit that we have left in Western democracies, if we have any left at this point. This is one of the biggest issues and stories. I'm going to try and do a follow-up as we find out more in the future on this issue. So definitely subscribe to the channel, click on the bell next to it to stay up to date with all those issues. And on the issue of America, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in half an hour. We're going to tell you about President Trump's comments on Boris Johnson. He's decided to break his silence on the former Prime Minister. I'm Maya TC, and we are the media.